I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 12th, 2026 Public Works Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice is absent. Alderwoman Gold.
Here.
Alderman Erger.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Any changes to the agenda? Can we go ahead and approve by acclamation? So stated that it's been approved by acclamation. Move on to citizen comment. If anybody in the audience or online would like to speak for up to 3 minutes, state your name and address. Anybody online, Octavia?
No.
All right, we'll move on to reports of the committee chair and committee members. I have no report. Alderwoman Goode.
I saw potholes being filled this afternoon, so thank you to Public Works for getting on some of those potholes nice and early.
All right. Alderman Erger.
No report.
All right, moving on to department reports. We got the the Parks and Rec. Eric?
Good evening. I have a number of things for my department report tonight. The first is cameras in Brentwood Park. So we had in the budget for a number of cameras this year. I actually forgot one that's not on here, but one is a camera that is going to kind of be viewed toward the creek, and that way it kind of gives us that view of the creek and how water's rising and lowering that we lost when we lost the construction cameras. And so that, you think about what happened last week, it would have been great to be able to kind of see that and make sure that we saw water rising and lowering and those different type of things. And then the other would be one that gives a better view of the restroom, the family restrooms, and that area, that breezeway area. We don't have a great view in there, and we've had a couple issues in those family restrooms, so we want to make sure we're able to see people go in and out more clearly. So those are coming. The good news is they're on budget, about $250 over budget, so that's good, and IT's looking to make sure that they get that done as quickly as possible. Memorial Park, the park maintenance staff replaced one of the pedestrian bridges. It was kind of one of the wood bridges, and unfortunately it just started to rot a little bit more. And instead of putting in a new bridge, what they did was an earthen crossing. So they put the drainage pipe underneath, dirt, and the mulch over top, and that actually provides greater access to our staff when we go through and mulch the trails throughout the spring, early spring, and the late fall. So that's a little bit better for us, and hopefully a good improvement. The dog park, we are going to be renovating the turf area within the small dog park section. So the large dog park has the crushed granite, and the small dog has the turf. The turf has kind of been degraded over the past few years, and so we're going to take this chance to really kind of do that whole area. So we're going to remove the asphalt trail that has been in that area for a little bit, retill and prepare the soil and put down some sod. It's the best chance of it for staying and get that done as quickly as possible. So staff thinks that it'll probably be a 4 to 6 week time frame, probably more in the 6 week. We want to make sure that sod settles properly, and then we'll get it reopened. So the idea is to start this March 23rd. We wanted to make sure we let you guys know tonight, and then we'll start communication tomorrow. We'll post something on social media, and then we'll send out a direct communication with all the dog park members. Then,
People are excited about it, and they're already talking about it, so.
Great. We're happy to do that. That's a good area, and we want to make sure that it continues to be good for the dogs. The park kiosk, I did put in in diligent kind of the design of that and what the 2 of the 3 panels would look like. And so more importantly, it's the 3-sided. It'll have 3 different things. One will have the park system, the whole park system, and the park rules. The second will do a little bit of history, something we've been wanting to do in that park for a little bit. Really to talk about the quarry, Thomas Madden, his role in Brentwood, and then also talk about the Dinky, the streetcar that had their power station right where the parking lot is now. And so we kind of touch on those 2 bits of history. And then the last will be a display cabinet where we can post things, upcoming events, programs, things like that. Kind of keep it all in one place instead of trying to get it out in different places. And so that's kind of our hope, is make it look nice. And then we'd like to kind of bring these to every park, but this will kind of be the first one we do. So we'll do hopefully 1 a year. So this is in our park maintenance budget this year. It's be $10,000 to $12,000. We're looking at quotes right now. but they'll be a nice addition to each park once we get them. Sculpture on the Move, we've participated in the Sculpture on the Move program again this year. It's a way to kind of bring original artwork to public spaces. We've been doing this for a number of years and have kind of grown art throughout the parks. We even have art in City Hall and out front. And so we kind of keep trying to add it as more and more places in the city. And it's a nice thing, you can lease the piece of art for 2 years, and then if you really like it, you can purchase it. We've done that a number of times. This year, we have selected Dragonfly by Kirk Cease, and I put through a picture in there. We've worked with Kirk before. He did the 2 feathers that are in right outside the entrance to the playground, the destination playground. And we kind of see this going toward the other end of the playground, near the other entrance. There's an area that never really took. As soon as we opened, MSD had to come through and do a little bit more work and kind of dug it up, and it never kind of resurfaced and never kind of regrew and things like that. So we'd like to put it there and then kind of work that whole area up again and make that look the way we want it to look when we first opened the playground. So then lastly, we do have a request from the Brentwood Middle School. So the Brentwood Middle School has been running the ice rink since 2021 for 1 day each year for about 3.5 to 5 hours, depending on each year. What they've done is they've paid the standard rental fee 2021 through 24. Last year, there was a little bit of a communication mix-up. Someone, I think, reached out to Alderman Wegge, and Alderman Wegge said, I think the city has a process for this. Make sure you talk to them. I think they took that to mean we now can use it for free. And so we actually, kind of similar to today, they had the meeting, or we had the meeting the night after they did it. The kids skated at the Public Works meeting. The Public Works Committee approved to give that request to the middle school for free. So similarly, we said, hey, we have to take this for approval. That's not something we can do. What Alderman Wegge was talking about last year was actually the board allowed OLA to approve free usage of the PTO. The grade school PTOs have used the rink for 2 days each year. And so that's something the board gave staff and BOLA particularly approval to do, but we don't have approval to do anything else. And so 2 things. One is we'd like to see if you guys would be interested in making that a free rental for today. We did tell them we'd have to talk to you guys, and then after that, I believe it'd even have to go to the Board of Aldermen for approval. They know we have an invoice that we haven't shipped to them, so we said we'd hold on to that invoice until we had this conversation. Secondarily, as this continues to kind of come up, the middle school, their kind of thought process, well, if the grade schools get to use it for free, we should get to use it for free. And then you think about the sports teams that are using our facilities, and we actually use the middle school's facilities. So we think at this time it'd be a good idea to kind of work on a facility use agreement with the school district that will really kind of codify what we do with the school district, what they do for us. And you know, I always like to use the word, if I would leave or I get hit by a bus and someone comes much meaner than me, they might be like, well, forget the school district. We're never going to give them anything for free. Vice versa, if we have a new superintendent, I think this is the 3rd superintendent since I've been here. So, you know, it'd be nice to make sure that we have that agreement just in case a new superintendent comes in and has a different thought process on working with the city. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but I'd like to make sure it doesn't happen. So that would be our recommendation, is to approve the usage for today and then start working on a facility use agreement.
Eric, on this? Well, let's do the first thing first. So do we support this most recent event coming up here, allowing the school district, or I guess it's a PTO, right, Eric?
No, it was the middle school today.
Okay, so
Yep.
they went ahead and used it for free?
They have been invoiced. We are holding on to that invoice until.
Okay, that's the invoice for that. Okay,
Yep.
I was trying to follow all that. So I guess
I can,
support the agreement.
yeah, so would the motion then be to, similarly to the elementary school PTOs, we will allow middle school 1 free day of usage?
Correct. If you just say you'll approve the usage of, for the middle school on March 12th, that's all we need for this year, and then we'll work on that facility use for next year.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Agreement?
Yeah, the agreement is more just if you want to give staff direction to do that, I'd bring it back here before we took it to the school district anyway, so it wouldn't be the last time you heard about this. We would have discussions as we move forward.
How about a motion to direct staff to put together an agreement with the school district?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And I probably should have, sorry, maybe I'll look at BOLA. As long as that agreement includes maybe talking to the superintendent, talking to Dr. Zelinski, so we start that conversation so they know that that's coming too.
Understood. I just had one quick question, Eric, on the other things you have here. As far as the Dragonfly, who's responsible for making sure that doesn't get vandalized or anything like that?
In the years of the lease, if something were to happen, the auditor does come back and takes care of that. That's part of the agreement we have and part of the honorarium that they receive. Afterwards, if we were to purchase it, that would be the city's responsibility, and then we'd most likely work with the artist to kind of get it back into shape. Knock on wood, we've never had any bad vandalism of any of our art pieces. We had one small thing on Dashes, which is in Memorial Park. Someone came out with a Sharpie and wrote some things, but we got that off pretty easily, and it wasn't too bad.
No. All right, any other questions for Eric? Move on to sustainability. I think there is no report except for later, right?
Yeah, everything from sustainability is coming up later, so
Okay.
we'll be back.
Thank you. Move on to Public Works. Dan, you have your report?
We got miscellaneous projects like we usually have on here. So starting at the top, the McKnight Road, the pedestrian improvements, we have all the equipment back at our shop. I reached out to TAPCO. There is an intermediate thing we need to do. We need to rent a piece of equipment, probably a bucket truck, to put what they call a smart hub in. Then they can calibrate it. Then when that's working, then we'll schedule another date to have them come and put the lights up and the other things that we need to add to it. So we're hoping that we can do that sometime next week. I know Monday and Tuesday are fairly cold, so I was hoping, Wednesday through Friday of next week to try to do this smart hub. Switching gears to 2832, 2828 Manderley. Still waiting for the contractor to give us the material. We want to do a mock-up so we can show the residents of what they're getting for that retaining wall. We'll reach back out to them. We've asked them a couple times for it, but we don't have that yet. On Manchester Road, there's several different lights that are out, as we talked about before. So the control cabinet that's on the north side, just east of Dorothy, that's been ordered, but that's the long lead time item. So the time frame they're giving us now is somewhere in May or June. It has to be totally fabricated. It's the one that's kind of compressed. Nothing in it's really working, so it has to be rebuilt. And then the 4 street lights that are on the north side of Manchester near what used to be Circle K gas station, they're going to do the bore of the conduit and wiring by the end of this month, and that'll get those 4 functioning. And then lastly, we have the one over by the self-storage. That has been ordered. There's also one on the north side to the west of Brentwood Boulevard at the church's parking lot. That one's actually covered under insurance since a motorist went off the road and hit it, but that one was ordered too. It's identical to the other one that we ordered. So I know the way it worked with the Strassner berm is we do all the work, we turn in the receipts, and then we get the money for at least that one. Sidewalk cutting, precision concrete cutting, they're totally done in Brentwood Forest. They're going to submit the invoice. We haven't received that just yet. And then lastly, we took the information that they gave us and some photos and put it together in the MML Innovation Award submittal. If we were selected, we'll let you know, but wanted to try to do something with that. Hampton Creek, the sanitary relief project that MSD has. I do have an update since I wrote this. So MSD said that the bids did not go out in March. They'll be out in April. They expect the bids back in mid-April. Then it has to go through their board process. So long story short is construction is looking like August or September 2026. So that involves like 3 48-inch diameter pipes that go through Black Creek to the west of Hanley, north of Manchester, near the flooring vendor. And then the Site 2026 Infrastructure Expo, I just put that in there. Eric, Michelle Boyer, and I went to that. It didn't cost us anything. We did meet several different vendors and consultants that should be able to assist us with future services. Like me in particular, one of the vendors actually rents sanitation trucks, so I can rent, by the week or by the month in case one of ours goes down for an indefinite period of time. The solar lights, we did complete the survey, and we did actually hand out the little cards to the folks on Mary Kay and Douglas Court. We're asking them to use the QR code and respond by March 27th. It's really just a yes or no. Do you support a street light in the cul-de-sac or do you not? I did have one person actually call today. He doesn't have the ability to scan a QR code. And I just told him, I said, I just need your name and your address, and I'll write it down as for or against, and that's just that simple. Street sweeping, I put that on there. We have been trying to pick up gumballs. I know the storms pushed a whole slew of them back on Rosalie and Eulalie and other areas that we swept, but we'll start picking those up again the rest of the month. And then it was just pointing out routine operations begin April 6th. So that's when we go monthly, the first full week of each month, and then the second Monday, second Tuesday. All the routes are on our website. So if people have questions, we just ask that on your day, try to move your car off the street if you do park in the street. So far, we've had, good luck with using the small skid steer and the big street sweeper picking up gumballs, but seems never ending. The stormwater bid package 1, I reached out to Gonzalez. They sent me back the invitation to bid. I'm filling out the dates in that. Once we put that together, we'll review the bid package and then hopefully get that out the door sometime in March or the beginning of April. Bring those bids back here and start working on those different, I think there's 5 packages in there. One thing that's not on here I was going to mention is the dissolution of the Hanley Road Corridor TDD. There's been some delays in the timing of the dissolution, which means that the fund disbursement that we're looking for, it'll still happen this year, but they're thinking it's probably late summer. So what that means is like the streets RFP that we put together or will put together, we'll probably want to push that out a little bit later than normal, just because if we do it right away, we're still waiting on those funds to come back to us. We'd be funding it, paying for it, but then waiting months until we get the money. And that's pretty much it, if anyone's got any questions.
Thank you for sending out those cards, because I was having neighbors follow up on that, and I like the QR code, great idea. I can take a guess on which household was the problem. There is at least one other household, I am 99% sure does not have internet, depending on which one called you. Who should I have them call when they call me?
My name's on here, so yeah, I told him, because I said, well, do you have a phone? And he said, or cell phone, and he said, no, so, yeah, it's.
Okay, I know who there'll be at least one other phone call coming in then, if it was a person who does not own a cell phone.
Right, yeah, he wanted to talk to his neighbors is what he said, because I said, well, are you for or against? He's like, well, let me talk to them first. It's like, well, there's no rush other than the 27th. We just handed them out today, so take your time. It was Mary Kay. Yep.
Thank you, Dan, for the report.
Yep.
Moving on to planning and development, Whitney.
Good evening. The February building inspections, there were 153 new building permits and 948 inspections. Code enforcement had 14 new cases and 24 inspections for the month of February. Business license were due February 15th, and late fees start assessing on March 1st. And as of last week, there was 487 have been completed, with 26 licenses issued last week and 64 business licenses in the renewing state, with 46 waiting payment. And we also require contractor registrations every year, at the beginning of every year, and so far we've completed 1,490, with 21 issued last week and 9 in the new renewal stage and 7 awaiting payments. Planning and Zoning Commission was last night. We had 7 items on the agenda. The Veterinary Emergency Group is seeking a comprehensive sign plan, and that was recommended approval, so that will proceed to the April 6th Board of Aldermen meeting. 8815 Madge Townhome Development was postponed to the April 8th meeting at the request of the applicant. Encore Nail Salon, conditional use permit at 8044 Manchester Road in the Convergence Dance and Body Studio, also received recommendation of approval. And it will also be on the April 6th Board of Aldermen meeting. Bonefish Grill, the applicant asked to table that, so there was no review. Should they wish to proceed, we will just renotice the project at that time. And then there was a fitness, Two Dog Gateway Fitness at 824 Hanley Industrial Court that also received a recommendation of approval, along with 2 text amendments for data centers and marijuana uses. So all of those will be at the Board of Aldermen on April 6th.
Questions for Whitney? On the text amendments, both the data and, what was the other thing, marijuana dispensaries?
Yeah, well, it was cultivation and manufacturing facilities would be conditional use in order to better address any odor issues based upon recent complaints of our neighboring communities that are dealing with that. And then it was to, currently our code specifies medical marijuana, so then it was just text amendment for cleanup with the state law to include all adult uses of marijuana. So, data centers would be limited as a conditional use in the light industrial district. If it is just part of an existing office space and only for that office use and less than 10% of that floor area, then they're allowed anywhere as just an accessory to that office use. But larger data centers would be limited to the light industrial district, and we established specific regulations regarding the review of those as well. So,
Anybody else? Thank you, Whitney.
thanks.
All right, we'll move down to the consent agenda, item number 6. It's the minutes from our last meeting. Can we, if there's no changes to the minutes, can we just do by acclamation? All right. Move on to old business. We've got the Brentwood Gateway Monument sign design. Eric?
Yeah, so last month, the Public Works Committee approved staff to start negotiating a contract with PDS to do the design for the Gateway Monument sign. And so we have done that. We've worked with PDS, had a couple meetings with them, talked about everything. And so they came back with an agreement for $106,700. As a reminder, when we first talked about this and Arcturus gave us a price, their price was $148,000. And so this is still less. I was hoping for a little bit less, but this is still kind of where we're at. As we know, this was not budgeted in the 2026 budget, so we recommend utilizing reserves from the capital fund, Fund 40. If we do this, the capital fund still meets its fund balance policy of 5%. So our recommendation is to approve the contract with Plain Design Studio and to forward to the Board of Aldermen for approval.
Questions for Eric? Michelle?
I noticed in the contract, it talked about it does not include any meetings, like neighborhood or community meetings. Is there any way we can make sure, given the price point of this project, neighbors and community can see it or weigh in, give some input?
I have to look at BOLA.
Then we would need to ask them what the cost of that would be so that we could factor it in there. Generally citywide, because the neighborhood, there's no
Sorry, when I
really.
say neighbors, I generally mean anyone in Brentwood.
Oh, okay, so
The neighbors,
citywide.
the neighbors of Brentwood, yes. So I was just thinking, like, it could be a survey, you know, hey, here's some,
I think we're past that.
train is going. Got it.
The design has been established. So when you talk about public engagement survey, to share what is coming is what you mean, not necessarily to seek input on the design, because the visioning for that was established during the Brentwood Bound project.
Okay, so if it, oh, okay, so this is still the circle thing. So
It-
they're
It
just.
includes all of it, both
Okay,
sides.
so we're going forward with the previous,
Yes.
so this is not design work, I'm sorry, I might have misunderstood. So this
Yeah.
is not design work to, we already have the design, this is
Correct.
just how we're gonna.
This is
build it.
to make the to do the drawings and the specifications so that the contractor can install it properly. So all we
okay.
had was just the drawings, and so now this is taking it from the drawings to be prepared for bid.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for
but
clarifying.
Before, it was just a concept.
Yep.
So now this cost is going to be the final design, development, and then construction documents.
And I do appreciate that Bola said that the ship was sailed, because I didn't want to say that myself.
So well, it looks like Eric is seeking a recommendation to the full board for having Planning Design Studio to provide the design services for the preparation of the new Gateway Monument sign. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Gold,
Yes.
Alderman Erger, Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, I think you're up. We're talking about traffic and transportation engineering. And I guess, I know there's several different items here, but they all
Yeah,
kind
they're all
of,
related.
so why don't we just kind of bound them all together all the way through to E and talk about them?
Yeah, if you recall, this was, we did an RFQ. We had a total of 4 firms that submitted their qualifications. After we looked at them, there were basically 2 different categories we were trying to field. So you've got some that could do the traffic impact studies. That would be HR Green and CBB. And then the others, Horner and Schifrin and TWM, would do more transportation-related things, say sidewalks. They could do surveying, things like that. So ideally, we wanted an on-call agreement, 4 different agreements, but 2 of them would be more of the traffic impact studies, and then 2 of them would be more of anything outside of that. So starting with the first one, TWM, if everybody's in favor of it, then we would take that to the board and so on and so forth with the other 3. And then each one of those would have its own resolution prepared at the board. And then in essence, you could either accept or reject any one of these 4. So again, they're separated, but it was the idea that if you didn't want one of them, we didn't want to group them all together so the whole thing would die. We wanted to keep them separated. And ideally, you could use these in the redevelopment area. You could use them on one-off projects, whether it's surveying or if I need to put in a new sidewalk where there is none, something of that nature.
Can you just give an example how you would use each one of these? In what
Well, I know we have an on-call, it's older, but like for TWM, we did that rubberway path between Bridgeport and White. So, I don't have any plans for that area. It's such an old area, so they developed plans for us. They went out, they surveyed it, they drew what it would look like, we reviewed the plans, then we eventually built it ourselves, but we had to start somewhere, needed to know like where the right-of-way was and things of that nature. So any one of these firms can sort of do that type of work, but knowing that planning and development needs assistance with these traffic impact studies, CBB's done the lion's share for the whole metro area, if you look at their qualifications that were attached here. But HR Green has done some work for Wildwood, O'Fallon, Missouri, and City of St. Louis. If CBB did a report, or maybe they're too busy to do a report, you could always use HR Green, or they could do a peer analysis if there's something that you question with one of the other firms.
So like if we ever get going on Manchester Road and development gets,
I could see you needing multiple firms just because one's going to take quite a while to develop, whatever that design is. Say it's, any one of these can do like traffic signals. So say, I know at one time there was a proposed idea of maybe a traffic signal at Cecilia, midway between Hanley and Brentwood Boulevard. So you might have to have multiple firms working on it. It's such a big project.
so instead of each project going out for an RFQ to have somebody supply these, you just
Right,
have these at your
it's-
fingertips to be able.
Yes, you would do a task order, you would tell them what the scope is, they would give you a price, and then you would bring that to this committee and then to the board to either approve or.
How long does this agreement go on for with these?
The way I had it written was it would be a 3-year agreement with 2 one-year renewals.
Well, it looks like we need to send on to the full board a motion in 4 separate, these would be 4 separate bills, correct?
I'll motion forward all four, if we want to do it.
Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Gold,
Yes?
Alderman Erger,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes. All right, Dan, thank you.
All right.
On to item F, which would be Hanley Park Comfort Station and parking lot expansion.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit, excuse me, last November. And kind of the update at that time was kind of the fact that we had done the completed design for the Hanley Park Pavilion and the parking lot expansion project in 2021. And kind of gone through all the process, worked with MSD, got that approval, that permit approval, and got to the point where it was ready to go out for bid. Unfortunately, we didn't have the funding at that time. Some of the grants that we're thinking about applying for, we subsequently used for Brentwood Bound, and I was happy to do that at the time. And so it kind of sat on the shelf for a few years. So the idea last year in '25 was that we kind of built that project in 2 years. We were hoping to get notice of a grant award sometime in September or October, be able to get the design out to bid, get it approved by the board, and even start construction last year. So we had funding for both the design and even a little bit of construction in the '25 budget, and then in this budget in '26. Unfortunately, what happened was when we got that notification, which we were all excited about, we reached back out to SWT because their agreement had ended. We basically stopped the agreement at that time because there's nothing else to do. We stopped that agreement. We knew we were going to have to build in a new agreement to start this. And they gave me a bit of bad news, and it turned out to be 2 bits of really bad news. And the first is when they went back to start talking with MSD, knowing that we were going to be bringing this to Public Works and the board, MSD said that they changed the requirement. A lot of technical stuff, but the basics is that what they had designed had to be moved up, or raised up a foot per regulations. Not good news. That means that you can't, I've learned more about flood in my 13 years here than I cared to ever needed to know. But the basics is that you can't just add more fill into the floodway because that creates more of a blocking for the water to go through. So you have to get the no-rise certificate. You can't add a foot of fill and not change the no-rise certificate. So what that means is that we have to redesign that building. Shouldn't have to be a whole lot, hopefully, but the idea is we have to build that up. We'll have to look at BMPs we'll have to change. We'll have to make sure we go through the city's floodplain study, also prove that there's not, we're gonna have a no-rise, go back to the Army Corps of Engineer and even FEMA. So it basically, we don't have to start completely over, but we're going back a few pegs. Secondarily, the board passed in December 15th, they passed the 2024 ICC building codes, which is great, except for our building was designed prior to that and not to the 2024 ICC building codes. Again, we don't think that changes a lot, but it still means we have to go back and get back into design. So with all that being said, SWT, 3 of their partners came to my office and sat me down. I'm like, it's never good when 3 partners come to your office. And they told me that, they walked me through all this and gave me the price, which would be $112,000. So we had budgeted $50,000 over the 2 years. This is obviously more. We still think this is a good project. We still have a grant that will pay for about 40% of the project. Our current bathroom is still, does not meet ADA standards. And we still need more parking in that parking lot. And for all those reasons, I would still like to move forward with this project and would like approval to move forward with SWT to start design. We know we have to pay for it. There's 2 things we're thinking of how we pay for this, and it's 2 basic things. One is we have the magic bus in the budget for this year. It's on its last wheel, but we'll keep it on its last wheel for 8 more months, 9 more months until we get into next year and rebudget that. Secondarily, we also know that best case scenario if this gets approved tonight, gets approved at the Board of Aldermen in April, 12 weeks for design, we probably don't get bids back until August to Public Works. 1 month or 1 meeting a month means I probably don't bring it to the board until September, which means now construction will be 26 and 27. So the money that I'm saving this year on the construction, I can also use to help pay for this. So there's 2 ways to do it. Like I said, I still think this is a good project and would recommend moving forward with this agreement so we can get the design redone and get this out to bid.
All right, questions for Eric on this? Got it already. Even if we, by the time, I guess, we get towards construction, if we haven't passed the ordinance, our flood ordinance of raising it 2 feet, it's still, because it's got to go to the Corps of Engineers and FEMA, they're going to still require a 2-foot.
From what I understand, once we get design approved, if the city were to change their ordinance, and if you're talking about the conversation that's coming back to the board, as long as design is approved before that change, we can still build to the design because everything had been approved prior to that. And what we are building is being built to FEMA and Corps standards anyway. The city, if they change, would be above, technically another foot above what those standards are.
And did we get a grant for this?
Yeah, we got a $410,000 grant for this project. We looked at the grant timing. The grant is, it goes through next June. So even with my new timeline, we should be done by June. Worst comes worst, stuff happens. We can get a one-time extension of, I think it's 6 months. So we do have till the end of next year to complete the project. I'd like not to ask for that extension. It's always good if we don't have to. It makes us look better the next time we ask for that grant.
Once again, the grant is reimbursement after the project.
Correct.
Question, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement with SWT Design for the Hanley Park Comfort Station and Parking Lot expansion to go onto the full board.
Second.
We have roll call?
Alderwoman Gold. Alderman Erger.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Thank you.
On to item 8B. I think you're back up here, Eric. Is that the dashboard, or did I skip? Oh, I'm sorry, Dan, that's you regarding the easement agreement with MoDOT.
Yeah, we did this similarly on several other parcels. So if you recall, during the Brentwood bound project, MoDOT purchased several different parcels. This one in particular is near 8627 Manchester. So what that means, this parcel 84 is on the north side of Manchester, just to the west side of the tunnel. So this easement in particular is needed for sidewalks and drainage improvements. And this will go back to MoDOT just like we already approved the other ones. This was just one piece that was missing on parcel 84. The other ones were already submitted to the board and approved in the past.
Any questions for Dan? Dan needs a motion, and it needs to be a first and second reading.
Motion. Do we need a motion for a second reading first?
No, we'll just, they're
To
wanting.
take it to the board.
Yeah, take it to the full board, but you're needing a first and second reading.
Correct,
At
yeah.
that meeting.
Yes, on the 6th.
For this easement to be taken from MoDOT to the city.
So moved.
Second.
Another roll call on this?
Alderwoman Gold.
Yes.
Alderman Erger.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes. All right, now we'll move on to B, and this is, I guess, Eric, you're doing the sustainability dashboard.
So The sustainability plan, which was adopted by, or developed by the Sustainability Commission, then adopted by the Board of Aldermen, included having a scorecard kind of measuring system on the city's website to kind of talk about what the city's doing, celebrate it, and talk about progress and things like that. And so that was one of the items that staff start looking for this year to kind of knock that one off our list. And as we're doing research, what we really found is that the scorecards are kind of, no one's using them anymore, primarily because they're very static and there's not a whole lot that you can do with it. And it's still kind of just spreadsheet or a graph or, table. And a lot of communities have started going to dashboards. A lot of, like the school district, the Brentwood School District has a dashboard. And there's a lot of other sort of dashboard examples out there. So as we looked at it, we looked at a lot of different places. I started with a sustainability group in Missouri that I'm a member of and talked to people and saw that the city of Columbia had a really nice dashboard. And so I kind of started looking at that. And then I looked at some other cities that, kind of had best examples, and they all were very similar. And I'm like, okay, did a little bit more digging, and it turned out that they're all developed by Kim Lundgren Associates, KLA. And so the idea is that these dashboards kind of, it becomes like a landing page for sustainability action for the city. And instead of being static, it's more dynamic. It's a full service explanation of what we're doing. It shows, again, it shows where we're at, how we're doing. It shows graphs. It can do lots of different features that we talk about. And so in looking at it and talking to KLA, we recommend moving forward with the dashboard and with KLA. KLA started from two people who were in the sustainability field. They were in municipal sustainability and really kind of wanted to do something and be able to branch out and help more people. And so we kind of see some of the things that they can do. They can host, they host the website, which can be city-specific branding. We have full access for 5 users. And in addition, they'll hold a monthly 30-minute call with myself and most likely Michelle Boyer will be the two of us because we're the two staff liaisons with the Sustainability Commission, and kind of make sure we talk about what's going on, how they can help, things like that. They provide monthly communication support. So one of the following, they can do like social media posts where they help you design those. They can help you with a blog or a newsletter. And also they hold all the Google Analytics, so that gives staff the metrics such as site views, unique visitors, engagement, links clicked. And so looked at that, and we feel like it's kind of the path that would be the best for the sustainability and kind of be able to kind of tell the community what we're doing, celebrate with the community what we're doing, help them get involved with the community. And like I said, it can kind of become the landing page of all things sustainability. So I listed a number of cities that KLA works for. I just did a small sampling. I did the ones that you guys might know. I added some smaller ones like Atherton, California, Barrington, Rhode Island, Concord, Massachusetts, and Harvard, Massachusetts. Those are all cities with similar population as City of Brentwood. So they can help you small, medium, large. So it's something the Sustainability Commission was excited about. Something that they thought would be a good way to kind of, again, continue that story. Part of the sustainability plan also includes communication, how to get the residents more involved, and they felt that this is a way to kind of start that process as well. So the cost would be for this year $14,500 to kind of get the site built, and then the ongoing costs for after that is $9,500. So what staff recommend, what the commission recommends, is that the city does budget $20,000 each year for sustainability activities. We recommend using that part of that this year for that $14,500, using that to pay for this year. And then depending on what we think is, we could build that into the IT budget, or we can keep it there in that sustainability budget either way. So the recommendation was Sustainability Commission was to enter an agreement with KLA to develop that sustainability dashboard, to bring it to you guys for your approval, and then take it to the board for their approval.
All right. Questions for Eric? Michelle?
So the website looks very slick, and I can definitely appreciate the analytics piece of it and the communication piece of it. But am I understanding correctly, we would be using basically that almost 75% of the sustainability budget just to purchase a website?
For this year, yes. Again, in the past, that $20,000 has been in that budget for most years. I will say last year was the first year we got to about 10 to 12,000 of that budget. We don't typically use it. We're just doing a lot of stuff. What we started with was easy stuff that we could do internally with the city. So we haven't had to dive into those funds a whole lot. As we move forward, we'll be using a little bit more of it. But again, it is, when you think about something and when you think about doing something that's going to cost money, we had to make sure we had that in place, and they understand that then it leaves them with only that $5,500 the rest of the year.
Then as a follow-up, it's not a benchmarking site necessarily. It's much more just communication and internal monitoring.
Yeah, I mean, it does have some reporting features. Like you can work off their website and get some pretty nice reports. But as you say, benchmarking against other cities, that is not a question we've talked to them about. I can ask that question. They obviously have some of that data because they do a lot of them, but I don't think it specifically is a benchmarking program.
It's a straight website communication tool. They just help design, and they
Correct.
build dashboards that are your own data for you compared to your own data.
Correct.
Questions for Eric? And then, is that a commitment once, if we're gonna pay to have the thing installed for 14.5, the annual commitment at $9,500, is that definitely set for 2 years then? I mean, if we find that this thing isn't,
No, it's an annual cost, so, you hope that you don't spend $14,000 and then all of a sudden be like, yeah, it's not worth our time. But it is an annual cost, so after year 1, after year 3, 5, if we decide that it's not meeting the needs of what we think, we would then make the recommendation to stop utilizing it. I'll be honest, Michelle Boyer and I, we looked at this pretty hard. We do think this is a good product for us. It will help, especially Michelle, because as the communications manager, she has a lot on her plate already, and this helps her kind of guide her and keep making sure that we continue the sustainability story. Sustainability Commission's been around for 3 years, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And while we do the best we can, there are things that we just don't have time to get to. And telling the story of what we do is one of the things we have a tough time getting to.
More follow-up. So the 9.5, that then becomes, if it doesn't move to the IT budget, would be 50% of the sustainability possible future budget as well. I mean, it's
Yep.
talking of a big portion of their dollars.
Yes.
all right, if there are no other questions, Eric is looking for direction whether to enter into agreement.
Enter agreement to then forward to the board for
he
approval.
wants
Sustainability Commission reports to Public Works, so anything they recommend comes here first for approval. And then you guys either approve it or send it back or say no.
A motion to forward this on?
I'll make a motion.
Not hearing a second, so I think it dies. All right, Eric, looks like we've got another item regarding Mount Calvary Park sustainability sites.
Yeah, so another thing that we've talked about in sustainability and in the Parks and Recreation Department as a whole is, again, being more sustainable and, again, celebrating what we do and getting some recognition and really kind of explaining to people some of the stuff we do. So one of the things that is out there is sustainable sites. It's been there for a while. It's basically the easiest thing is it's LEED for landscaping. So most people know what LEED is. It's what LEED is for landscaping. So In talking with SWT, we're doing a lot of the stuff that we're already doing in that site. We have to control water runoff because of the issues that were already there. We're already going to do some other things. So they did a quick calculation, and they think that we can easily get gold. There's 3 designations, several silver, gold, and platinum. And so gold's kind of that middle one. And so we would like to move forward with working on that site designation for Mount Calvary Park. There is a cost. The cost is $8,000 to register, to make sure that the registration and go through the process and have them review everything that you do. You know, SWT estimated the cost might be 15 to 18. That would just mean if we wanted to go to platinum, how close we are to platinum. If it's, hey, we could do this and we can get to platinum this way, we would bring that back for discussion. But the first and main cost is the $8,000 for the registration. So again, this is something that was discussed as sustainability. They made the recommendation to bring it forward to the board or to the Public Works Committee.
Questions for Eric? Eric, where's these funds coming from?
So this would be part of the project cost. And so as we would build that design into the contract documents that we're working on. And so that would be part of what we do when we move forward.
Does having this designation, does this open up any grants or?
It can. I mean, ultimately, when you start looking at federal grants and things like that, especially if you look at sustainability type grants, they want to see that you are, you know, talking the talk, walking the walk. So that helps with that. It will help with different type of awards if the department wants to go out and apply for different type of awards that would help with that sort of thing as well. So we see it two-pronged on both of those, for helpful for grants and for awards nominations.
So for the additional project costs, if we did incur those to move up to platinum, it would actually be through making the project more sustainable?
Correct.
Okay, so true impact. Dollars that lead to true sustainable impact.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so we need to make a motion to the full board, having SWT do these changes to the design. That sound right, Eric? Because I'm not seeing a recommendation in here on how.
Yeah, I apologize. It is, I mean, at this point, it's just to have staff to work on to recommend staff work with SWT to move forward with sustainable sites designation. What we would do is, as we move forward with the project, we would put that in as a bid alternate. So that way, when we brought it back for discussion for the budget, I could show you where everything for sustainable sites is broken out.
That direction is just from us to you.
Yes. For now, it's just a, hey, keep moving forward, and when we get to cost, we'll bring it back and have more discussion.
Want to make that motion, or second that motion?
I'll second.
Somebody make it.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All right.
Keep moving forward.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Eric. Finally, we're down to our final citizen comment. Anybody online, Octavia?
Have a list. No. We don't.
Oh, we still got time. Yeah. All right, no further business. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you, guys.